Hey folks, thanks for joining us for the massive 401k cost savings revealed presentation. My name is Steve Kuna, and I'm the founder of a firm called RetirementCFO. And as you can imagine, we are a 401k advisory firm. I'm also the founding advisor of the Select 401k plan, and I've been in this business for about 30 years. Listen, sorry to be blunt here, but if you are still using what's known as a single employer 401k plan, you are really missing out on an opportunity to really benefit your employees. If you've never heard of a MEP, PEP, or CIT, then you're obviously missing out, and your advisor, if you have one, is sleeping at the wheel if they haven't shared this important information with you. I should know because I'm one of the first advisors to launch a private label MEP in New England about a decade before most advisors even knew what MEP stands for, and that was called the Select 401k plan. So here's what I'm going to cover in about 10 minutes. One, I'm going to let you know what you're missing out on if you're still using a single employer plan and why MEP, PEP, and CIT are acronyms you absolutely must know, and also how you can transform your plan and your employees' financial future in under 90 days. Now, this is a typical scenario here in your town, USA. There's a number of companies. They all sponsor individual 401k plan. We're going to use an example here that there's $10 million 401k plans in your town, and each of them are paying for all the ancillary services required to run a 401k plan. What are those services? What are you paying for? Well, you've got record keeping and website hosting. You've got administration, plan testing, 5,500 filings, maybe corporate trustee services, plan audit fees that collectively with these 10 companies could be about $150,000 a year. Fidelity and ERISA bonding, investment costs, advisory services, educational services, and the staff time on all the administrative tasks are required on an annual basis, about 100 hours on average. And also the time that your committee has to spend sitting down, say, quarterly, reviewing your plan and reviewing your investment menu. So the concept here of the MEP and the PEP is where we can get massive economies of scale. So here's an alternative scenario. If all of these 10 employers in your town, USA, decided to get together and pool their $10 million plans together into one plan, that would be a $100 million plan. And then they could go and they could fire 9 of their investment advisors, 9 of their auditors, 9 of their record keepers, 9 of their administrators, and be able to achieve massive economies of scale. The concept of the MEP was actually developed over 70 years ago by federal savings banks that were all running individual defined benefit pension plans. And they realized if they pool their assets together, they'd be able to get, again, massive economies of scale and cost savings. And that's just what they did. That concept has now carried over and has been available in the 401k space for several years. And I was, again, one of the pioneering advisors that took advantage of this for my clients about a decade ago. So if you want to get more information on a MEP and what it's all about, I actually created a video. It's a 3-minute overview video, and there'll be a link in the description bar below here where you can click on that. In 3 minutes, you'll get a terrific, quick overview on what a MEP is all about. But just to explain the acronyms to you, what I often refer to as alphabet soup, what does MEP stand for? It stands for Multiple Employer Plan. PEP stands for Pooled Employer Plan, and CIT stands for Collective Investment Trust. MEPs and PEPs are very, very similar in terms of how they operate. The concept is the same, where there's multiple employers coming together, pooling their assets. In terms of some administrative nuances, it's slightly different, but for the most part, you're getting the same benefits. A CIT is a collective investment trust, and I consider that really the best way to describe it is an alternative to mutual funds. They are sponsored by banks, and they are basically giving you the best of the mutual fund in that you have professional money management, but you don't have all the ancillary fees that go along with it. So CITs on average on an actively managed mutual fund can save you between 20 to about 45% in underlying fees. So seriously worth looking at. Now, how do you get this massive reduction in administrative and also fiduciary responsibilities by taking advantage of MEPs and PEPs? Well, I'll give you the rundown. First of all, you're going to fully outsource investment monitoring on your plan. You're going to outsource the job of plan administrator, meaning signing the 5,500 filing and all the administrative responsibilities. You'll outsource the job of plan trustee because it's a thankless job for any executive. And you're no longer going to sign a 5,500 filing and attest to its accuracy because that's what you do when you sign it. Is it accurate? Who knows? But if it's not, you'll be held responsible. You're no longer going to have to prepare or have your staff prepare for those annual plan audits that are costly and time consuming. You're going to save an average of 100 staff hours per year in day-to-day administrative tasks. You're going to enjoy complete fee flexibility for services because you can decide how you pay plan fees. And if you don't already have it, we can set up 360-degree integrated payroll. Saves time, saves money, and it also reduces your liability for payroll errors. Where do the massive fee savings come from? Well, let's give you the rundown here. 20 to 30% average total plan cost savings. This is case by case, but that's based on national averages. 20 to 45% savings on the investment charges when you use CITs that I've described. Again, saving the cost of 100 staff hours annually. Whatever you pay your people, find out that hourly rate, multiply by 100, that's additional savings. And in addition, on plan audits, a reduction of 80 to 100% reduction in plan audit fees. So in some cases, depending on the program you get involved in, there are zero audit fees, or they may only be $2,000 to $3,000. And all the time spent in preparing for that audit and providing the information to the auditing firm. But let me take it a step further here. I have what I call a 401k pricing optimizer. It's basically a pricing strategy that I use to bring even more savings to the table. Let's spell it out for you here. First of all, it can now provide a 40% reduction in overall plan costs with Uncle Sam picking up a part of the tab. So there's a little hint there for you. 44% reduction in advisory costs over the next 10 years based on average advisory compensation in the marketplace. A 70% reduction of employee plan fees. Those are the fees deducted out of your employees' accounts on an ongoing basis, which results in more money in your key employees and really all of your employee accounts at retirement. Let me show you where this is coming from. I'm going to use the example of a $10 million plan with average pricing based on national benchmarking. And you can see on the left on the bar chart, you see typical single employer plan. The fees are in the form of investment charges, record keeping and administrative fees, and advisory costs. If you just move the plan from a single employer plan into a MEP or a PEP, the impact you can see is that reduction ranges between 20 to 30%. However, if we take advantage of this pricing optimizer that I've used, we can further reduce the costs of the advisory and the record-keeping services. And you can see that takes us all the way to the far right, optimized net cost, which is 40% less than the typical pricing of a single employer plan. This is worth taking a closer look at, folks. In addition, though, how do we save you money on the advisory costs? I told you over a 10-year period, we're talking about 44% less in fees. You probably know that your advisor, for the most part, on average, charges a percentage of assets for their compensation. For a $10 million plan, assuming it's growing at 10% per year because of performance of the market, as well as deposits from your employees over 10 years, the average compensation to an advisor in this country for a $10 million plan is 25 basis points or 0.25%. That's $25,000 in year one. But every single year that number grows. Over a 10-year period, you'll see on the blue graph here, the blue line, that advisor is going to earn about $500,000 off of your plan. And remember, every dollar that goes in the advisor pocket is another dollar that's not in your employee's pocket. We have a different pricing model here at Retirement CFO. We don't charge a percentage of assets. We charge a flat fee that we only raise by cost of living increases. That is the orange line. So if we work with you over the next 10 years on your $10 million plan, we'd earn about $286,000 instead of $500,000, 44% less fees. Again, if your plan doubles in size because of market performance and a merger, is your advisor worth paying twice as much money just because that happened? They're not fully responsible for that. So, you can see where I'm coming from on this. Impact on the employee cost. Again, typical employer plan cost. The employee has fees deducted out of their account to cover investments, record keeping, administration, and advisory support. If we take advantage of Retirement CFO Pricing Optimizer, we can reduce that fee, and you can see it drops down and eliminate the advisory costs coming out of your employee's account. We can take it fully further if we end up doing our full optimization strategy, and we can bring it all the way down so that your employee only pays for the investment fees and is no longer responsible for record keeping and advisory. That results in a 73% less cost coming out of your employee's account. What does that mean in the long run? I ran the numbers. An employee age 30 from age 30 to 65, saving for 35 years, starts off earning $100,000 a year, saves 10% of their salary, and earns an 8% gross rate of return over that 35-year period of time. If we use the regular pricing model that you're currently using, his or her account could be worth about 2.6, almost $2.7 million. Not bad. $2.4 million. However, if we use our pricing optimization here, it's 2.6. We're talking about a difference of $250,000 because we're reducing those fees that are coming out on a daily basis from your employee's account over their working lifetime. Okay, this is clearly worth taking a look at. So if you want a more successful 401k plan in 90 days or less, what do you got to do? Save by moving your plan to a MEP or a PEP plan structure. Save with CITs as part of your investment lineup. Save more with our Retirement CFO advisory fee structure. Save even more using our optimizing pricing structure. We can use bold plan design to also further improve the plan, which I haven't even gotten to today. Also invite your retiring employees to our Retirement CFO Blueprint Masterclass, which helps them learn how to make the transition from working into retirement and create reliable, inflation-adjusted, lifelong lasting retirement income. And also enjoy a more competitive 401k plan that better prepares your employees for a successful retirement. Because at the end of the day, folks, isn't that the point? You are a fiduciary on the plan, and it is your mandate to make sure that you're doing all you can to improve circumstances for your employees. And I think this is one of the best ways to do that. So finally, a more successful 401k plan in 90 days. If you're open to exploring this, you can schedule a discovery call with me today. Below this email, you're going to see a link to my calendar. If you provide me your name, your company information, I can look up your plan prior to our call, and I'll be able to share some comparison numbers with you to give you an idea of what kind of cost savings could be available to you. So that's all for now. Thanks for checking this out. Have a great day. Bye now.